No, 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 no. College football is back. It's
Week
here.
one.
Woo! Never thought we'd get here. Welcome.
Yeah, I went ahead and started that thing, but let's get into it.
College football is back. We had a great game last week. Sweaty Boy called it with Georgia Tech upsetting Florida State.
I'm just saying, you people like to act like we don't know ball. I was telling you, Georgia Tech. I was 100% confident Georgia Tech was gonna take it. Okay, y'all might want to listen to us.
I'm just telling you, man. We're on it right now. And, as of right now, we both have been saying this for the longest. North Dakota State versus Colorado. We both have been saying
Absolutely.
And what's happening right now?
Currently 17-14 Bison. Now Colorado could go in a halftime and totally turn it around.
This is going to be a game, me and you. Once we get done recording this, that's all we're going to watch.
I swear, for the people listening tomorrow, if North Dakota State wins this game, I'm staying up to watch the Deion Sanders press conference. Because holy crap, how that's going to go down. But we do have a good bit to get into. It feels so good. Oh, you could feel it in the air.
Well, I never thought we'd get back here, man.
I mean, the fact that we've kept this podcast going through the off season, that says a lot. That really says a lot.
It was tough to find, and I'm sure y'all figured that out. It was kind of tough to find some stuff to talk about.
We got plenty to talk about now. So, you know what? Let's kind of hit it real quick because we didn't really talk about it. We haven't had an episode since week 0. Obviously, we don't need to talk about Nevada and the SMU, but Florida State, Georgia Tech, they go over to Dublin, Ireland.
I don't understand why everybody thinks that DJU is a stud. We knew at Clemson he wasn't. And then he went to Oregon State and played Mountain West teams, basically. And when Oregon State played someone last year, he didn't win. So it's not like was shocked. He threw for under 200 again.
Well, he had a really good. I think Jonathan Smith is a great head coach. I think he's going to do really good at Michigan and Michigan State in the long term. I thought he was good for DJU. I thought Oregon State was a good place for DJU. Kind of, with the whole with the Big Ten situation and the dissolving of the Pac-12, and Oregon State not going to a new conference. Obviously, it makes sense for him to leave, but I just figured, like a Mississippi State or NC State was a place for DJU, not bright lights, pressure FSU.
Florida State because, and I saw this the other day. He went to Florida State because he knew he knows he's not going to NFL. That's not going to happen. He is trying to get as much money as he can right now with NIL deals. Because he just got a commercial the other day with Celsius water. Why? Why did he would have never got that at Oregon State. Never would have.
No, and as far as the game goes, I mean, not just this isn't just on DJU. I mean, people were hyping up the Florida State defensive line as potentially being the best in the country, and they were thrown around like rag dolls by the Georgia Tech offensive line. I don't know what that says about Florida State or if it says anything about Georgia Tech, but we'll find out a lot about Florida State this week against Boston College, because if Florida State doesn't play well against Boston College, that'll tell us everything we need to know.
It will be if Bill O'Brien can beat Florida State.
Oh, Lord.
They can't even beat Bill O'Brien. Like, come on now.
We knew that Florida State wasn't going to be quite as good as they were last year. I mean, you lose Jordan Travis, who, by the way, Mike Norvell is like, I believe he now has a losing record in games coached without Jordan Travis as the head coach, as the quarterback.
He had a worse record than Willie Taggart did. And Willie Taggart was like he was not there near as long as he's been.
I know it was said many times that it kind of came down to Kalen DeBoer and Mike Norvell as who would be selected as the head coach at Alabama. I don't believe for a second now that Greg Byrne would even think about hiring Mike Norvell after one good season last year. I don't. Well, 2022 was good too, but that's besides the point. Georgia Tech, who knows? Let's give credit to Georgia Tech. I listened to, if you got a minute, go listen to the radio call on YouTube of the Georgia Tech radio announcers when they hit the game-winning field goal. One of the greatest calls I've ever heard. If you're into that kind of stuff, go listen to it because it was epic. So, but let's get into our week 1 matchups because I'm so excited. Let's go chronological order. Let's start off here. Clemson, Georgia. What a 12 o'clock noon. What a start.
I think that's awful.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, you got that. You got Wisconsin, Bama in week 3. I don't know who's in charge of scheduling, but they suck. Screw you. This game should have really been game day. But, Clemson at Georgia. How do you pronounce that Clemson boy's name? Cade
Klubnik.
Can't pass the ball. He's terrible. I think this will be my hot take of the year. I'm going to be honest. I think this is a Dabo season at Clemson. I think if they have a mediocre season, he will leave to go somewhere else.
Well, you saw he's already canceled his call-in radio show, or like maybe he's still doing it, but he's not taking calls anymore.
What happened last year?
I mean, isn't it a little?
I'm telling you,
like, isn't it a little sus that he decided to do that before the Georgia game?
I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just telling you.
I can definitely see it. I can see it.
Nathan said that's my hot take for the year. That is my hot take.
I think he was ready to go last season after the Tyler from Spartanburg stuff. And then I feel like he was very disappointed when Alabama did not select him as to replace Nick Saban because I feel like he desperately wanted it.
You are about to see a John Calipari kind of situation happening.
Oh, good comparison. Good comparison. That could be true, or I already feel like he's going down the road of like a Bobby Bowden, where he had you had this really, really good period of success. You win some national championships, and then you just kind of stick around too long. I just feel like Dabo, it has been at Clemson a little bit too long. I feel like they probably need to part their own ways. So I do think that Georgia comes out on top of this game. I don't want to sit here and say I'm betting on this game. I don't know because who knows? It's still Dabo, right? I don't really like that line. I think it was, Georgia minus 11.5. You know what? Actually, kind of.
I like that for a top 15 matchup.
Yeah. Also,
it's played in Atlanta, aka it's a Georgia home game.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, Georgia's record there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium isn't the best. Most of those losses that they've had have been to Alabama, but Penn State and West Virginia in Morgantown.
A sneaky game.
It's a trap game for Penn State.
This is the make or break year for what's his name?
James Franklin or Dana Holger. Is Dana Holgerson still the head coach at West Virginia?
Neil Brown, dude from Troy.
Oh, Neil Brown. That's right. Yeah, he's been a huge disappointment at West Virginia.
He was. I'm telling you, this is a make or break year for Neil Brown at West Virginia. Would not be shocked if they kind of struggle like they have been if he don't finish the season if he doesn't finish it as the head coach.
He was the guy to get out of the Sun Belt, a few years ago. Troy fans loved him. And then West Virginia picks him up, and it's kind of been a Billy Napier type situation. It just hasn't translated to the Power 5.
North Dakota State has extended their lead 20-14 against.
You're kidding me.
Tell me, this is going to happen.
Oh my goodness gracious.
This is oh my god. But go back to Penn State, West Virginia. No, this is definitely a trap game for West Virginia. It does kind of feel weird not seeing West Virginia and Pitt playing the first game of the year.
Yeah. Usually they're playing like week 0 or like one of those Thursday night games to start the season in week 1.
The highlight of Thursday night game.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see this game. I do think this is a good matchup. I'm not big on Penn State this year, to be honest. Like, I think they're going to be, a decent Big Ten team, like the upper echelon. I think they're definitely going to get lost in the crowd, though, to Washington and Oregon and USC and not UCLA, but You got three of those teams. You got to think Penn State's always been the number 3 team in the Big Ten behind.
Well, and they've suffered in playing in the harder division of the Big Ten because you're in the same division as Michigan and Ohio State. And James Franklin, he just can't win the big games against those guys. Whereas, if he was playing in the Big Ten West against Iowa and Wisconsin, he would have been in the Big Ten championship game multiple times.
He needs to come back to the Commodores, baby. Come on.
He does. I do think that James Franklin is a good coach, but he has to win some games. He's got the big games. He's got to beat, the big boys in order to really be considered, one of the top programs because this is Penn State. I feel like we forget how good Penn State should be, and they are good. But it's at this point, it's like when they play big games, it's like you automatically know how it's going to go because James Franklin's record in them is so bad.
They have a better shot of putting Keegan-Michael Key out there because he looks just like him. And he'll probably call better calls.
Remember when Keegan-Michael Key came and he starts running like James Franklin across the field?
Looks just like him.
So give me Penn State though. I don't think this is a great West Virginia team. -8, I like that. What do we got next? South Dakota State and Oklahoma State.
This is a game I really like. I don't know why, and why it'll probably be a 70-0 game. But Vegas is really hitting on this game a lot right now.
I mean, Oklahoma State's only favored by 9.5. I mean, this is the FCS champion this past season here, the Jackrabbits. So we may get a same situation as what we're getting right here with North Dakota State and Colorado. I don't know, but the thing is, expectations for Oklahoma State are way higher than Colorado. I mean, Oklahoma State should compete for a Big 12 championship this year.
That's what they're saying. They're saying the Big 12 championship is kind of wide open right
Oh,
now.
100%. I think you'll get competition from Oklahoma State. Utah, I think it should be the favorite to win it. I think they are. Arizona should be good.
You also still got Kansas and Kansas State.
That's right. Jalen Daniels is going to be good for Kansas. Don't forget about McMillan and Fafita at Arizona. Big 12 is going to be fun to watch this year.
And I tell you a team to watch out for in the Big 12, and that's KJ Jefferson and the Knights of UCF.
I was going to ask you that. At what point is is Gus Malzahn going to really bring it there at UCF? Because he's had some good seasons, had some good games. Is this going to be the year with KJ Jefferson at QB?
They're playing right now. Let me see how bad they're up.
I'm going to give this game, though. Give me Oklahoma State on this game, and I do think that they cover. But wouldn't shock me if South Dakota State makes it a game.
Yeah, I think they'll make it a game. It'll at least be a game in the first half, if I had to say that.
All right.
We are on upset alert, mind you. Halftime, 14-14. West Carolina versus North Carolina.
Ain't that crazy? College football is insane. All right, moving to what would be the 2:30 Central Time, 3:30 Central Time CBS game for SEC, our first SEC, or excuse me, not first SEC because we had Georgia. But this would be like the CBS game. But remember, SEC is no longer on CBS, so it's all on ABC and ESPN and SEC Network. Florida and Miami. My fiance is going to that game. Hope to have a really good time. She will. And what do you think about this game?
My upset of the week. Give me the Gators. I think Billy Napier has been hearing all the shit talk going on with his name this whole offseason. He ain't going to make it. Well, he's coming out proving a point. He's already done that once in his career at Florida against Utah in the first game in the swamp. And guess what? This is going to be in the swamp. Yes, Miami does have Cam Ward, who I think is one of the better quarterbacks in college. But give me the Gators. I think Graham Mertz can put us together. I think Florida will pull the upset against Miami this week. Give me
I am with you there. I just think Florida has the longest home winning streak in home openers. It's like 44-0 for the past 44 years or something like that. You know the second longest streak? It's Alabama, and it's like half of that. Florida does not lose in home openers in the swamp. Obviously, it would be in the swamp as a home opener. But I just think is making out to be a Florida win. I know Miami has done a lot. They made a great move made multiple great moves out of the portal with Cam Ward at quarterback, Damian Martinez at running back from Oregon State. You've really upped your defensive line. It should be a really good defensive line. However, we also said Florida State's defensive line is going to be really good. This is a game that's going to be won at the line of scrimmage. Who can run the ball better, and which quarterback cannot turn the ball over? Cam Ward. He's a great quarterback. If you want to watch some of his film from Washington State, that dude was flinging it all over the place just out of nowhere. So I just wonder, he hasn't played in an environment like the Swamp. The Swamp is very different than, say, LSU or Neyland Stadium, because those are stadiums that just rock and roll from the beginning. The Swamp eats at you slowly, and it's just going to grind at you. It's hot. It's humid. The fans are right on top of you. I just think it's making out for an upset.
Whitney Stadium, then.
It ain't got nothing on the cock. It ain't got nothing on the cock.
When Southern Miss comes to town, and, oh, man, the Eagle, they run like some bitch.
I mean, the Michelob Terrace be going crazy.
Speaking, you know what? So we both have Florida. Let's go to the next game. We're speaking of South Alabama. It's this is kind of a big game in the non-Power 5, or not Power 4, my bad. I got to get used to saying that. The non-Power 4. North Texas at South Alabama. The first game with Gio Lopez as the new quarterback for South Alabama. For our South Alabama fans, let's give a quick prediction. Give me the South Alabama Jaguars. I think your brother needs to go to the game because he will watch the first win under Major Applewhite.
The Major Applewhite era. I agree. Give me the Jags. I don't know what the line is, but I think Major Applewhite has this thing. He doesn't like Texas teams. He got pushed out by Houston. He played at Texas, and they didn't want him. Give me the Jags. Our city. Elliot.
If you see Sam's little brother, everybody, say, "You are Sweaty Boy's little brother from Heads Up Play."
That's right.
And kiss him on the lips.
And take him to his first frat party.
There we go. Baby. Pack drop. Spike. I don't know. One of the two. That
All
was
right.
you. Shout out Jake.
Shout out Jake. All right. Another big game on the ticket. Really the only other big game on the ticket for Saturday.
Well, before we get to that, let's talk about the Barnes School. Let's talk about the school across the state. We always like to kind of throw Auburn in here for the Auburn fans. Alabama A&M, the Bulldogs versus Auburn. Auburn's gonna blow them out of the water. I do think this is the game. I think it's always funny. Auburn always has like these easy first games. They'll blow a team up and they'll get the fans really hyped. Like, man, we'll blend it together.
We're so back.
Well, hell, you just beat Cordova High School. Like, it's all right. You're not back yet. But I do think this will be one of those games that Hugh Freeze will put 60 on the board just to kind of remind the fans, we can do offense. Peyton Thorne is the man until they play California next week. So I'm actually I'll explain later, but we will not be available to watch the Auburn game next week. But I am excited to see how Auburn does perform in the highlights. Just to see how Peyton Thorne is with new receivers. But give me Auburn blowing them out.
Yeah, 100%. This is certainly going to be one of those games that, like you said, Auburn makes themselves look good. We'll say that. Because Auburn is a fan base that really, really is desperate for something good to go their way. It's like they just can't get past Alabama, whether it's in football, whether it's in basketball, softball, baseball, whatever. They just can't catch a break. They want something on Alabama. They want to be really good at something, and so they'll find anything to make themselves look good. So sorry, Auburn fans, but that's the reality. You will beat the crap out of Alabama A&M, but that is why. So game day will be at this game. And this is really an interesting matchup, is it not? Notre Dame and Texas A&M.
A lot of storylines in this game. You got Riley Leonard versus his old coach. You got Mike that's about it.
Well, Marcus Freeman. I mean, Notre Dame, I believe, is favored in this game.
I,
No, A&M is favored, -3.
I feel like this is big for Marcus Freeman in the sense of, I feel like he hasn't won any big games since he's been at Notre Dame. He hasn't beat Ohio State.
Well, he lost to Ohio State on the very last second. So that would be his biggest win if they would have held on to that. I think Riley Leonard is a slight upgrade from Sam Hartman last year. Sam Hartman was a good quarterback, nothing crazy. He was just really handsome, had a nice beard and hair.
Available, he got cut.
Yeah, he did get cut. I like A&M in this game. I really do.
Give me Notre Dame. I'm high on Notre Dame, actually. I think Riley Leonard is what they were missing. I don't think Hartman was that good of a quarterback. I think he was a good system quarterback. I think he's a good don't turn the ball over. I think Leonard's a stud, actually. I was high on him at Duke last year. Fairhope boy, actually. Shout out Fairhope. I think he's from Fairhope. Mm-hmm. Give me Notre Dame.
Okay. Notre Dame. I will say, if Notre Dame wins this game, put them in the playoff right then and there. They do not have much of a test.
The 12-team playoff is made for teams like Notre Dame.
Absolutely, 100%. Moving on to Sunday. I forget that this game is on Sunday. LSU and USC, the battle of the defensiveless teams. This could be a 500-point game.
It could, but you got to think too. It just now hit me. This game is full of a storyline in the sense that you don't know what they're going to do. Both of their quarterbacks went 1 and 2 in the draft last year. So they have brand new quarterbacks this year starting off. They lost their prime receivers. They lost Jordan Addison 2 years ago. And then this year, LSU lost Malik Neighbors. It's going to be interesting to see the new faces for USC kind of appear and LSU appear. I mean, do we think Garrett Nussmeier will be able to do it against LSU? I think he does. Give me the Tigers in Las Vegas over the Trojans. We remember last time the USC team played an SEC team and they came out of the tunnel crawling like some dogs, and they lost. What was it?
Like 52-6 or something like that to Alabama in Dallas.
See though, if Lincoln Riley has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder to kind of prove to LSU that he is better than them, because if you remember, it was speculation he was going to LSU.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think that LSU pulls this out. I do know that USC got a new defensive coordinator, DeAnton Lynn, who is pretty good. And this is an attempt by Lincoln Riley to finally, get rid of the narrative that he just cannot coach defenses, because he can. He's never had a good defense anywhere he's coached. Brian Kelly, on the other hand, has had good defenses. He's got some really good defenses at Notre Dame and Cincinnati. Last season was kind of a one-off, but I don't know how much they've upped their defense this year. I don't think that the hires they made and the stuff that they made out of the transfer portal, I don't think that they were good enough to make sufficient upgrades on defense. But I do think that Brian Kelly is a better coach than Lincoln Riley. I think that it's SEC versus Big Ten. That's crazy to see. So I give the slight edge to LSU in this one, but man, I think it'll be super high scoring.
It's going to look really nice in the Raiders Stadium. The Death Star is going to be really nice. I'm excited to see.
It will. This will be a game that tells us a ton about both teams. Just like Florida and Miami, this game is going to tell us a lot how we think LSU is going to do in the SEC this year and how USC will do in the Big Ten this year. So give me LSU in that game. And our last game would be that one would have been our last one, but give me this one here. Actually, no. Let's talk about this one right here, because Monday, I forget that this one is on Monday. Boston College and Florida State.
I think this is a get-back game. I think Florida State's going to kill them.
I think so too. FSU is -16.5, but if Boston College comes out shooting, Who knows? Maybe
Oh,
Bill. I've already heard not great things about Bill O'Brien there in Boston College.
I don't know why they hired him. I'll be honest.
It was a weird hire.
They must have not had Sunday ticket or just TV to watch the Patriots the past year.
All right, so special announcement. If you guys have been watching our SEC preview series, we just yesterday or last night uploaded our Georgia preview, which means our last one is the Alabama Crimson Tide. We're going to upload that today, this evening, or maybe tomorrow night or tomorrow morning. And we're going to do it. We're going to try to do it in person together. That's because you and I, John Rivers, we're hitting the road.
We are road tripping it. We are going mobile to Tuscaloosa. We will be attending the Western Kentucky versus Alabama game.
The first game in the Kalen DeBoer era. I'm excited.
I'm excited. This is going to be interesting. I'm very excited how the vibes are going to feel without Nick Saban and all that. But y'all look out for us on TV now. We're going to be pretty.
We're going to be very close. Second row or second or third row, something like that. And like the 50-yard line, somewhere around there.
I mean, I'm excited. Rumors there are that Roll Tide Willie's going to be there, so we're going to see Roll Tide Willie.
We'll discuss our Alabama predictions in depth on our preview video. But give me a quick little glance about how you think this game is going to go. Who do you think is going to be? Who do you think is going to score the most touchdowns? Make the biggest plays.
This is what I'm excited for because I think this is a good little test for our secondary. Our secondary is not the strongest in the world.
Mm-hmm.
We got TJ Finley, who will be playing Alabama for the third time for 3 separate teams. And Western Kentucky is such a pass-heavy offense. I feel like you always hear of a new quarterback, Bailey Zappi, Austin Reed. You always hear of a new quarterback coming out of Western Kentucky that can just sling the ball.
And TJ Finley had a really good season last year at Texas State.
He did. I don't think he was terrible at Auburn. I'll say that. I don't think he was the worst quarterback at Auburn.
Yeah, it wasn't a Jeremy Johnson level bad.
I'm just telling you, I think it is – I'm not, of course, going to say it's closer than what everybody thinks. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a good little test. Don't be shocked if they jump up 7-0 against Alabama.
Yeah, I fully expect there to be some – Tyson Helton, the head coach of Western Kentucky, I fully expect him to have something in his pocket that he's, some sort of trick play. Who knows? Expect Alabama maybe to not come out, totally in tune to start the game. Who knows? Do you remember? Not only has TJ Finley played Alabama multiple times, let's not forget Western Kentucky played the greatest South Alabama team of all time in the New Orleans Carriers Bowl in 2022 and beat the dog shit out of them. So Tyson Helton knows Swarm D.
Let me show you. Yeah, this on eBay the other day. He did not help us. He let us get dog walk.
Carter.
Damn it, Carter. Come on. Hey, but shout out Carter Bradley, though. Shout out Carter Bradley. He signed by the Oakland Raiders to be on the practice squad. We'll make it. Carter.
He actually had a pretty good little showing the other day.
He scored through a touchdown.
Yeah. Go Raiders.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Raiders. But, man, football is so bad. You got college this week. And, hell, I don't know if you think about it. Next Thursday, you have NFL. Ravens versus Chiefs.
Man, I'm going to be glued to my TV for so long.
I'm telling you, I am so excited. Next week is even better in college football. You got North Carolina State, Tennessee, and then you got one of the probably the biggest non-conference game going on with Texas, Michigan.
That I cannot wait for that one. I can't wait for our next our next prediction episode next week because it's going to be good. But guys, go ahead.
Let me just start thinking. We predict all these games. We need to start writing them down. We can watch the old episode and kind of see what we predict. At the end of the season, the winner or the loser the loser has to buy the winner a steak or something like that.
Maybe we can get ourselves a trophy, the ball knower trophy.
Yes.
Yeah,
And hey, we got fantasy football coming up. Me and you's in a fantasy league together, man. I mean, we got our draft Sunday.
that's right.
Like I said, what pick do you have?
I have the 8th pick.
I had the first pick.
You had the first pick. You definitely didn't rig that.
Okay. Quick pick. Who are you picking at 8 if they're available? Someone you're thinking.
I haven't even thought about it because I know, like, Tyreek Hill is not going to be available. I don't know. Maybe Mahomes, is he going to? I don't know yet. I got to do my research for, like, who the fantasy experts think will, like, make the most points this season.
Good deal. Before we close out, though, our upsets this week is Florida. Now, before we go, I need your quick. I think we're running out of time. I just need your quick 4. Tell me who your 4 conference champions are.
4 conference champions in 2024. I'll start with the Big 12. Give me Cam Rising. He's back at Utah. I like Kyle Whittingham. He is a fantastic coach. Give me the Utah Utes in the Big 12. Do not be shocked if Oklahoma State or Arizona or a few other people compete for that spot. In the ACC, I'm going with the Virginia Tech Hokies. Do not sleep on Virginia Tech. Everybody is so high on Miami, Florida State, Clemson. Kyron Drones, quarterback for Virginia Tech. Learn the name. Kyron Drones. Virginia Tech will win the ACC. They have a super easy schedule. They can fly through it, and he is a great quarterback who will win the ACC championship. In the Big Ten, I am going to go with Oregon. I'm going to go with Ohio State. I do think that Oregon beats Ohio State at Oregon when they play each other. I think they play again in the Big Ten championship, and Ohio State wins, and they are Big Ten champions. In the SEC, I do believe that Georgia will lose a regular season game. Let's say I think they lose to Alabama. I think that Georgia loses to Alabama. I'm saying it right now. Georgia loses to Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and they rematch in the SEC championship, and Georgia gets their first SEC championship win over Alabama.
Wait, who is your Heisman winner?
My Heisman winner, I am going to go with, oh man, that's tough. Give me Quinn Ewers.
Okay. Let me give you my 4 in my Heisman. The Big 12, I like the Utah pick. Give me Utah. I think is the Utes all year. I think Cam Rising, my God, he's older than us, and he's still in college. I think Cam Rising, this is his year to win it. In the ACC, I was thinking SMU, but after watching them perform against Nevada, give me the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, okay.
Brant Key is 5-0 so far since he's been the interim head coach, whatever, against ACC teams. Give me the Yellow Jackets.
Okay.
All right. In the Big Ten, I was thinking Ohio State, but I'm very big on Oregon. Love Oregon. I think they have a very good team. Transfer portal, they killed it with Evan Stewart and Dylan Gabriel. I think that is going to be your Big Ten winner. In the SEC, I think it's going to be the Bulldogs. It's either Bulldogs or Alabama. But,
Alabama.
Blitz. Now my Heisman winner, give me, and I just said his name, Dylan Gabriel at Oregon.
I was going to say Dylan Gabriel, but I went with Quinn Ewers. Guys, that is our week 1 predictions. Let's see how we do. Hopefully we're not over. Guys, let's get out of here. John Rivers, hit him with it.
You stay classy.
Stay classy, everybody.